What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wish You Had Dad, where you get life advice that's twice as nice. And what I'm going to talk about today is something I get asked about a lot, and it's how to buy a car. Now, I'm not going to talk about leasing. That's a completely separate video. But today I'm going to talk about what you should expect when you go to a car lot. Now, how do I know? Well, back when I was 28 years old, when I was transitioning out of the restaurant business, I actually went and worked at a car lot for about 90 days just to learn sales. Now, not only did I get a PhD in sales from that, but I learned the inner workings of the dealership and how things work. And I'm going to share that inside information with you today. Now, before you even go to a dealership, you got to do a couple of things. Number one, you've got to contact several credit unions wherever you live and find out what their current auto rates are for cars. The reason you're doing this is you never want to go to a car dealership without financing ready to go in your pocket. Now, if they want to beat it, fine. But if you walk in there blind, it's like taking lambs to the slaughter. So now that I have my financing squared away, I want to do some research online. There's a couple places I look for cars. Now, I'm really talking about used cars here because buying new cars is really not a good idea. Everybody loves that new car smell. I know this, but the reality of it is when it goes over the curb from the dealership, it depreciates about 20%. So it's better off buying a used car a couple of years, letting somebody else take that hit. Plus you can get a better deal on a used car. So I'm doing research on those cars. There's a lot of great sites, cars.com, that'll show you if this is a great deal, an average deal, whatever it may be that are going out there. But I also like to look at eBay Motors. And the reason I do that is if you sign into eBay Motors and you actually look at not the current auctions, but auctions that have closed and are done, it will show you how much those cars sold for. So you get an idea of how much these cars are kind of wholesaling for on the open market to really know what you're going with when you walk in. Now, so I prepared myself. I have done my research. I have my financing. I know the kind of car that I want. I know this dealership has it. When am I going to go look? Well, the only time I ever walk into a car dealership is the last day of the month. Now, why is this? Because dealers get hit with financing charges on the first day of the month for all of the inventory they have sitting on their lot. They want to move cars. They want to move as many as they can and get them out of there. I try to go with a couple of hours left in their day because the later in the day it is, the easier and better your process will be because everybody, quite frankly, just wants to go home. You go rolling in there at 10 in the morning, they're going to grind you and keep you there for as long as possible. The reason they do that is because they don't want you to have to, the longer you're there, the less you will want to replicate that experience somewhere else. Now, when they're negotiating your deal, they're going to bring out probably what's called a four square. It's a piece of paper with 4 boxes. One of them has a down payment on it. One of them has a monthly payment. One of them has what they want for their car. And one of them has what they're willing to give you for your car. Now, here's a little secret. Very rarely do those 4 boxes add up at all. Like if they put that on a contract, the math would not work. Because what they're trying to do is get you worried about one of those boxes instead of all of them. You've got to make sure that you negotiate the best for every part of that deal. If you're trading a car in, it's smart to take it to CarMax before you even go to that dealership to get another quote on what it would take in a trade-in. Now, keep in mind, when you go and you're negotiating the price of a car, you always want to let the dealership have the impression that you're going to use their financing. Why? Because they make a lot of financing and they will give you a better deal. You actually get a better deal on cars if they think that you're financing it rather than you're paying cash. They end up making more money. So let them think that you're financing it the entire time. It doesn't matter. You don't want to fill in a credit app right now, but just tell them, yep, I have great credit. We're going to do this and I'm going to get it done. Now, when you get to the point where you go into the finance office, or as they call it, the box at dealerships, where they try to sell you financing, this is where you need to pull out that financing you had from the credit union and say, can you meet this or can you beat it? If you're a cash buyer and you're paying cash, this would be the time when you would pull out money out of your pocket and actually pay cash for the car, but expect the same deal that you negotiated out there. Now, the best key to negotiating a great deal on a car is simply this. You need to be prepared to get up and walk away at any time. If you don't walk in and fall in love with a car and be willing to pay whatever, that's a mistake a lot of people make. I went with my mom one time to buy her a car. This is several years ago. And I actually had to step on her foot under the table while the salesman was talking to get her to be quiet and let them do the deal. It was crazy. Now, again, with the finance office, something else that goes on in there. They're going to try to sell you an extended warranty. Do not buy this from the dealership. Don't buy this stuff because, again, you can go back to your credit union, even if you don't use their financing, and buy extended warranties much cheaper than you can from them. They're going to try to also sell you service plans. Now, if you're buying a Porsche or you're buying a Ferrari, or you're buying a Mercedes, yeah, you absolutely have to go and then, take it back to that dealership. But if you're buying a Ford or a Toyota or a Nissan, you can get your oil changed anywhere. You don't have to take it to the dealership to get that done. So be very cognizant of that. The last thing I got to remind you of is no matter how cool the people are at the car dealerships, they work for the dealer. They don't work for you. They're not your pal. Their job is to put their hand as far as they can in their pocket. So hopefully that'll help you guys. Do your research, be prepared, get a good deal. Well, that's it for this episode of Wish You Had Dad. Hope that advice helps you next time you have to go to a car dealership. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any topics that you want me to talk about in the future, feel free to put them down in the comments and we'll get to them. See you later, guys.